There may be more distinguished members of this body throughout our history, but I doubt.
Oh my God, is he about to cry? What the f? Now let's get to some good news.
Big breaking news at this moment. We are told that Mitch McConnell, the Senate Minority Leader right now, and he has been the leader since 2007 of the Senate Republicans, will announce shortly on the floor of the U.S. Senate that he is going to step down as leader. We expect that he will say he will stay on through this year's election. Again, this is very, very big news. This is according to a source familiar with his plans.
He's dying.
We do know
dying, boys.
that his office has formally said that he is going to make extended remarks on the Senate floor. You see the Senate floor right now. We are watching and waiting for McConnell to come out. He just turned 82 years old. He is the longest serving leader in the United States Senate historically, and that has been a milestone that he has held on to for now a couple of years, right, Jeff Zeleny? I have my panel here. We're waiting for Manu Raju.
Let's get back to the fun stuff. Mitch McConnell.
Someone who has been instrumental in driving the Republican agenda for the past 2 decades, serving longer than any party leader in United States Senate history, about to announce in a matter of moments, this is it. His time is done as Republican leader.
Manu, we're going to hear Manu.
We lost Elaine's younger sister,
They're like,
Angela.
shut the fuck up, Manu.
I'm unconflicted about the good within our country and the irreplaceable role we play as the leader of the free world. It's why I worked so hard to get the national security package passed earlier this month. Believe me, I know the politics within my party at this particular moment in time.
He is really a turtle. He won't die, dude.
If you would have told me 40 years later that I would stand before you as the longest serving Senate leader in American history, frankly, I would have thought you'd lost your mind. I have the honor of representing Kentucky in the Senate longer than anyone else in our state's history. I just never could have imagined that happening.
He is filibustering
when I arrived
death.
here in 1984 at 42. I'm filled.
Do you think he thinks he's a good person? Yes, of course. Everyone thinks they're a good person. I'm sure he thinks he's a good person. I don't think you can keep up the act and live with the... people delude themselves into thinking that they're good people when they're doing like pure evil shit all the time. This is how it is.
To lead my Republican colleagues has been the highest privilege. But one of life's most underappreciated talents is to know when it's time to move on to life's next chapter. So I stand before you today, Mr. President, and my colleagues, to say this will be my last term as Republican leader of the Senate. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon.
Oh, come on now. I mean, he is. There's no way. There is no way that this man is not legitimately suffering serious health complications behind the scenes. He would just keep going. There's no time limit, and they love being in power and holding on. He has to be throwing in the towel because he's at death's door.
However, I'll complete my job my colleagues have given me until we select a new leader in November, and they take the helm next January.
He has 2 years of the term left, and since Cameron lost the governor's race, he'd be very pleased if he became the next senator. Yeah, they're going to put Daniel Cameron in that position. He's been grooming Daniel Cameron for a decade now.
I'll finish the job the people of Kentucky hired me to do as well, albeit
Yeah, people of Kentucky hired me to make sure that every single one of them that wants to pay for their diabetes medication will die far before they get access to insulin. My job here is done. One of the poorest states in the country, and I work tirelessly to maintain the desolate conditions for all of my constituents as I make a tidy profit on the side.
a different seat. And I'm actually looking forward to that. So it's time for me to think about.
When are liberals going to prop up McConnell as a hero, the old kind of Republican Party? Joe Biden will. Joe Biden will release a statement, if they haven't done so far, to literally say Mitch McConnell has served a phenomenal tenure in Congress. He is a statesman that I genuinely appreciate, and he is a representation of the old guard of the Republican Party that was much more manageable and much easier to deal with. He's a beacon of prosperity. He's a committed leader. That sort of thing. And my friend, he will say he is his friend.
I love the Senate. It's been my life. There may be more distinguished members of this body throughout our history, but I doubt.
Oh my God, is he about to cry? What the
There were any with any more admiration for the Senate.
Nah, you're bugging. There's no way they'll give him the McCain treatment. Brother, Joe Biden has already called him his friend. Joe Biden has already talked about how he appreciates McConnell and everything he's done. Oh, well, there you go. There you go. Did this just release? Oh my God. No, literally, this just released at 2:38 p.m. Eastern time. Pre-watched, even though it already happened. President Biden said Wednesday that he was sorry to hear Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell stepping down and praised him for his honesty. I'm sorry to hear McConnell step down. I've trusted him and we have a great relationship. We fight like hell, but he has never misrepresented anything. I'm sorry to hear he's stepping down, Biden said, of his former longtime colleague in the Senate. Mitch McConnell is almost singularly responsible for one extra Supreme Court justice that is Republican, by the way. That is a psychotic reactionary, by the way. Almost singularly, almost single-handedly. Mitch McConnell famously, under the Obama administration, when the Senate had a Democratic supermajority, by the way, Mitch McConnell famously said he is going to do everything in his power to ensure that Obama is a one-term president. And he did that. Mitch McConnell was directly a change or a solidification of the party polarization becoming permanent. The Republicans used to be obstructionist every now and then. Mitch McConnell made it so that the Republican Party was always obstructionist, no matter what, unless a Republican is in charge. And even then, still they're obstructionists, but at least they're like down to swiftly pass legislation as long as it's like deregulation of key sectors or I guess like tax cuts for the wealthy. And he did that. They obstructed everything nonstop and never got punished for it by their voters. And that is the reason why the modern Republican Party is infinitely more reactionary and infinitely more obstructionist right now. They also, as you well know, ran campaigns on how the government doesn't work, and they would make sure to defund the government. Exactly. Starving the beast is always easier under a bourgeois capitalist form of government.
I still have enough gas in my tank to thoroughly disappoint my critics, and I intend to do so with all the enthusiasm with which they've become accustomed. So to my colleagues, thank you for entrusting
Evil never
me
dies,
with our
boys.
success.
Evil never dies.
It's been an honor to work with each of you. There'll be plenty of time to express my gratitude in greater detail as I sprint towards the finish line, which is now
Evil never
in
dies.
sight. I yield the floor.
Literally. It's wild. He won't just retire and live the rest of his life on the beach. Crazy what being a sociopath does for you. I think at a certain point, they just do it for the love of the game, though. They love having that power. Anyway, Mitch McConnell, hopefully this means that, I suspect that he's doing this because he has like health complications. There's no other reason why he would step down, especially because he has 2 more years he has 2 more years to go in his current term. So why is it only Republicans that tactically retire? I don't even want to get into that. These usually die in office? Yes. He is a ride or die for the Republican Party, though. Like, he does genuinely love the Republican Party and the Republican project in general. Obviously, he has been made very wealthy as a consequence of that. But beyond that, like, there are people like Donald Trump who don't give a shit about the prosperity of the Republican Party or the Republican project in general. Mitch McConnell's not one of them. Mitch McConnell definitely is the type of dude who cares about like the future of the Republican Party, something I've brought up many times in the past. Yeah, he basically admitted that as such when he said he got married on Ronald Reagan's birthday. Like, it's almost religious. Do you think you'll be 87 years old dying in the streamer chair? If I make it to 87, which is very unlikely, I would say that if I make it to 87, which is unlikely, but if I make it to 87 as a streamer, that means that like all of my haters have themselves, because there's no way, like the only thing that prevents me from continuing the stream and makes this like a lifelong thing is the fact that I have so many cyber stalkers that are constantly bickering and doing everything they can to make my life a living hell. You know what I mean? Because I do love what I do. I love it.